When you live in a small town, everyone knows where you've been and what you have done. I've been trying to leave this old town since I...
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zeta.
And I'm Kelly, and you're listening to
Two Sides and the Truth. All right, normally when we do like a catching up section, I have an assload of stuff to say, and I don't today. It's Kelly.
It's very surprising.
Yeah, I kind of just chilled last week. I don't know what was going on with that. And I didn't feel great all week. I had a little bit of not feeling, just not 100%.
'Tis the season because, stuff is going around. Everybody around me is getting sick. I feel like I need to go get one of those like inflatable bubble things.
Yeah,
and
just
just
put it
live
around your
inside
body.
of it.
Yeah. I do have a story about those. Oh, from this weekend.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go.
Wait
You're
a minute.
welcome.
I'm going to write it down. Bubble. I'll tell it in a minute.
Bubble.
Okay, good. All right. What you got?
My most exciting thing, okay, actually, there's a couple of competing things because I had a lot of fun this weekend. But it started out with a tattoo, which is the best way to start out a weekend, I think, because, it was Friday, it was payday, and I was like, man, I want a tattoo. And once I get it in my head that I want a tattoo, I have to do it. Like I can't think of anything else.
Hyper focus, like
I do.
Zaley does.
I can't. And it really, tattoos are the only thing that I do that with. They're like literally my only addiction. And
I know. She texted me and said, "You want to get a tattoo?" I was like, "No, not really." And she was like, "Well, I do."
You got to do it. And I had to. That's all I could think about all day. And I was finally like, I had so much stuff to do this weekend. So like, I literally did not think that I could fit it in. And all this week I've been super busy. I was really surprised that I went and got my nails done on Wednesday before I went to work. And because I had a party this weekend, so I wanted to get them done, and I barely got fit those in. Like there were so many things I was having to fit in, like just when I had a couple of spare hours.
Yeah.
So I was like, how am I going to fit this tattoo in? Like I don't have time to go do it before work. I then have to go to work, and then I'm doing stuff. I don't know how I'm going to fit it in, but I was finally like, I got off of work like 30 minutes early, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go by the tattoo studio and see if they can get me in. And if they can get me right in, then I'll take that as a sign and I'll just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
But if not, I'm not going to be able to schedule it for any other time this weekend because I'm just so booked. So I got there and she was like, yeah, I can get you in. And I was like, yes. I was so excited. So it started off awesome with the new tattoo.
The stars aligned.
I was so happy. It was meant to be. And like really, I've just been on a high all weekend because of that. It's been great. And then yesterday, Dante had his company Christmas party. And I was really excited for this because they haven't had one since COVID. Like I went to one with him that had a really big one. It was really nice. But they haven't had one since then, since COVID. This is their first one that they've had.
That's crazy.
I know. So I was like really excited. And they had it at the new Globe Life Field. At the
cool.
Texas Ranger Stadium, and it was down on the field.
That's so great. And so are we walking around on the turf? Like, what does that look like?
So I thought that I never knew like what it was.
Because I was like, Kelly, don't wear heels. Are you going to be walking on grass? Like,
I was totally fine because it is not even like turf. It is hard. Oh. Like it's like synthetic grass. Like it's not real grass, and it's hard. It's like you're walking on a floor. Like maybe it has a little bit of carpet, but it's not even.
Yeah, like Berber carpet.
I would not want to fall down on that field. Let me tell you right now. I have a much more respect when I'm watching those games now because
that you touch the field.
Like when they take hard falls, and even like on the bases, how they run on the bases, all of that is so hard. Like that would literally.
So y'all got to just wander around the whole field.
Yeah, we got to walk on the field. They had out in the outfield, they had it set up, all the tables, and they had, around, we got there and they started off
because they have marketing on their part.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You know what we could do? We could, people would pay to have a party on this field. I would never
They had drinks, a couple of carts around that you can go and get drinks at or alcohol. And then they had appetizers and stuff for a while. And then they had their dinner time. They had like barbecue and chicken and stuff like that.
And did they serve y'all or did they have like a buffet?
It was kind of like a buffet, but there were numerous. It wasn't just like one big buffet line. They had numerous little stations, so it moved very it flowed very well.
Yeah.
I was excited. It was nice. And then they had so many different things for the kids too, because it was a, family thing. So they had a bunch of different like blow up things, and they had like a big bounce thing.
Yeah.
And then they had the thing open to where you could go down and pitch, and it would tell you how fast you throw and everything.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of really cool things.
That is so cool.
And the kids could
That
run.
was not cheap.
No.
That was not cheap.
The kids could run the bases, and like it was, they were having a blast out there. Honestly, I wish that I wasn't wearing a dress so that I could have gotten out there and played with some of the stuff. But it was really awesome. It was a really fun night.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah, it was. And I was just
Isn't it
felt
nice
so
to
cool.
dress up too? Like, I mean, you dress up all the time, but I bet Dante doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah. Did he dress up for this?
He dressed up to his dressing up.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, I mean, he wore like black dress pants. He wore all black.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I
He had to match you.
Yeah. Well, I actually wore a red velvet dress. So it was the first time I've worn color, like literally all month. It was nice though. And we had a really good
Yesterday, I saw Mary and we were walking. I'll tell the rest of the story in a minute, but we were walking to this little there was a few little shop things set up. And this one was just clothing and accessories, and everything was off-white or beige. Absolutely everything in the booth. That was like their look.
time. Interesting.
And we walked by, and I'm looking at it, and I even am like, that's weird. There's like no black in there. And Mary's like, what the hell? Who's going to shop there? I was like, Mary, a lot of people don't wear apparently it's just us. Okay. I don't know. And she was like, no, that's crazy. Like everybody was like, that's crazy. Out of everything we saw, that was the craziest. Look at all those neutrals.
Yeah. So what? That's some people's thing, man.
But I saw a lady today walking through the HEB parking lot that was dressed in all neutrals, head to toe. She looked stunning, older lady. And I even told Haley, I was like, that lady her outfit is stunning. So some people pull it off real good.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's just, that's not my life.
No, that's not your life. Well, that sounds great. What time did y'all get back? Was it like a long thing?
Yeah. I mean, we left there like around, 10:30 or whatever. So we got home about 11:30. But his friend, of course, all of his friends, he doesn't drink. All of his coworkers drink, and so they were all drinking, and they're like giving him a hard time. They know he doesn't drink, but they wanted us to go out after because they were all going out. Hitting a club or something like that. Okay, that's not
Rick either. Rick's not doing it either.
Do that, and and their company, like a lot of them that lived out of town, they got them hotel rooms too. Like they spent a buttload.
Dang.
They spent a lot, and if you drove and you needed to Uber, like if you had drank too much, they were picking up your Uber tab.
Wow.
Like it was very awesome.
What's the name of this company? Like, damn.
Davis Crane.
Man.
And, they spent a hot
Yeah, they
penny on
did.
it. Like it was insane. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, how much does it freaking cost to rent out
No
the
kidding.
Rangers Stadium just to start with?
Yeah.
Not including all
the
everything
extras.
else
Yeah.
that they did.
And if you go all that, I know they didn't spare a dime on the food, and
It was all really awesome.
Yeah.
And but his friends were trying to get us to go out after that, and they were like on him like at one after the other.
Peer pressure.
Come on, you got to take her out. Look how pretty your girl looks. You can't just go home. And he was like, I was like, that's why he's taking me home.
Did you tell him that?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Because one of them was like, she looks all done up. Look how beautiful it is. You need to take her out. Why are you just going to take her home? And I was like, that's exactly why he's taking me home.
I'm surprised he didn't say she looks like this every day, y'all. Literally, she washes the dishes dressed like this. That's what I
This is
said.
just her normal.
This is literally, that's just like a house dress.
She was already wearing
Yeah,
it. She didn't even have to change.
I told her to tone it down, and this is the toned down version.
Yeah.
So
I made her take off the tiara.
yeah, that's funny. So what'd you do today?
Today, actually, we
You had a
got
big
to
weekend.
relax some this morning, and it was nice because I didn't have to sing in church. They did their children's Christmas presentation thing this morning.
Yeah.
So we didn't even go. And it was so funny because when we were on the way last night to the stadium, I told Dante, I was like, oh, they're doing the children's Christmas play tomorrow. He's like, I know. I was like, so, we don't have to go because I'm not singing. He's like, I know. I'm sleeping in. So, but he's been feeling a little under the weather too. So he was happy to be able to actually
rest
and everything. So, and then I got up and then we're starting our Secret Santa at work next week. So I came into town and went shopping for my Secret Santa presents for that.
Well, I got to come up with something for the white elephant.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking about that too, and I still haven't found anything.
I'm thinking of just getting a bottle of alcohol.
To me,
honestly,
I really just need to go back to like Target and look at the decor stuff like I did last year.
Well, we got it last time. Didn't we end up getting it though at Ross for you or like TJ Maxx? We got it at TJ Maxx.
No, I got it at Target.
Really?
Yep, we were at Target.
Okay,
that's where I got
sworn we were at TJ Maxx.
Nope.
Huh? Okay, it was cute.
I know, and I just need to find something that I want. And
so you can get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just took Zaylee with me searching for a salt and pepper shaker. And I saw it the other day. Was I with you? Didn't we go antiquing the other day? Who was I with when I antiqued the other day?
I don't know.
Zoe. It was Zoe.
It wasn't me.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry. But there's a salt and pepper shaker, like those old school Tupperware ones that are like white, maybe too old school for you, and they had like an S and a P on the front, but it's just like an old school Tupperware one. And Rick wants a pair, and he told me he wanted something else, a crystal pair. He just wants a new salt and pepper shaker that's old school, like a new old one. And so he said crystal, so I've been looking for I know what crystal one he wants. It's like the one that everybody in the 90s had.
Yeah.
80s maybe. And I haven't found that one yet, but I found a similar one. But then I saw the Tupperware one. I thought, I bet he'd like this, but I didn't buy it. And then today I said, I saw this old school Tupperware. That's the one I told you I wanted. I said, you said you wanted crystal. He goes, I mean, the other one I wanted. I was like, I don't think you told me that. But I'll go back. So we went back looking for it, and I didn't see it. And I thought, I don't even know if I saw it in the store. I don't remember where I saw it.
Oh, great.
So I'm
never going to find it.
You know what I'm starting to think? It's when you and I went. It is when you and I went the other day. When we went to those other two stores. Remember we went to your favorite store like a weekend ago?
Yeah, we went. Yeah.
That's when I saw it.
Okay, we didn't go to the antique store. That was the thrift store.
That was a thrift store. Okay, we got to go back there.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan.
I might need you to go look for me.
They're not open till Wednesday.
Okay,
so we have to go on Wednesday.
Remind me.
All right, we'll do it.
That's what I got to do. I was like,
good.
where?
I'll
I
write
could
it
not
down.
remember who I went with, where I went.
It was me after all. Okay, I take it back.
I know. Damn it. So I didn't have as exciting a weekend, but I got a funny story about, I did do something. Yesterday, I went car shopping. I didn't buy a car. I'm debating on it. It's, I'm in the middle of car hell. So it's a truck, but whatever. So, which actually I had an amazing salesperson this time because it was my aunt. But
Yay.
she's awesome. But like by marriage. But anyway, so after that, I was in Dallas. And so I was like, I text Mary, I was like, you want to eat lunch? She was like, yeah. Well, we had gone to this place. I don't even know the name of it. That's horrible. We had gone to this dumpling place in Dallas, like some dumpling place. Something like that. And it's in Dallas, and it's in this really cool building that's like in Oak Cliff. It's on the other side of the Trinity River. And Mary said that they like let these new restaurant people that want to open their own restaurants that are new to the business, they'll let them, like the first year or two they're there, they get a really cheap rent and they help them out and subsidize them.
Cool.
And it's to help struggling, to get them up on the ground. And it's like 4 or 5 different restaurants, and then they share a patio, and then you can have, it's animal friendly. And then they also do events sometimes, and they also have they had like 2 fire pits going. This is the middle of the day yesterday. It was kind of chilly yesterday. Mm-hmm. They had 2 fire pits with all these chairs around the fire pits, and people were out there sitting, reading books, and just like hanging out, and had their animals, and then they had like these really cool, the bubble things. Okay, so plastic but clear bubble things that go over tables, like picnic tables, and they also had it over like some anorak chairs so you could sit around inside. And so if it's a cold night and you want to hang out outside, you can rent those bubbles and go in there and zip yourself in there. It's just you and your friends. I thought that was pretty cool, I guess, unless someone farts, but that was neat. And then
I've always wondered about that.
I assume that's
That's
gonna.
like worse than a Dutch oven.
I know it is a Dutch oven. Literally.
There's no escaping.
Yeah, and then they had like a bar area set up, and they had like and then they had TVs and like chairs in front of the TV, and this is all outside, like next to the fire pit and shit. And they had these outdoor TVs, and there were guys sitting there watching sports, and it was crazy. It was, and it was all outdoors. And then they had like these little booths set up for the day where they were doing like a little market thing.
That's cool.
It wasn't anything I was interested in buying, but it was cool to walk around and look and everything. And our food was amazing. We ate some. I always tell Mary when we go places like that she just orders because she lives in Dallas. She knows what's good.
Yeah, you get me something.
She just orders and orders. She just kept ordering stuff, and it was delicious. And then we left there, and the kid's great grandmother used to live just like 3 blocks from this place. And back when she lived there, before she passed away in the 90s, she lived there like from the 30s until like she died in like 1990, I don't know, 6, 5, something like that. Mm-hmm. And it was the hood. Like it was the hood. It was where Bonnie and Clyde are from. Bonnie and Clyde are buried over there.
Oh, sweet.
And Bonnie and Clyde used to come into his great-great-grandmother's cafe and eat in the back in what they called the colored section, because it was segregated back then. Mm-hmm. And they would come in and they'd eat back there because they were wanted, and they weren't. And then they'd buy everybody's food that was there. So nobody was snitching.
Nice.
And because they were from Oak Cliff, for those that don't know. And if you don't know who Bonnie and Clyde Barrow are, you need to look it up. Great story. I'm
you
sure
need
they
to
know.
educate yourself.
They're pretty famous. And anyway, so I was when I was going there, I had to cut. The way I came was from that car dealership. So it took me down this road, Sylvan, which is, back in the day, I mean, when I tell you the hood, I mean the hood. And I'm driving out. I'm like, I don't even know where the hell I am. It is so gentrified. It is insane. I was like, this is crazy how much this area has changed. But her house, I drove by her house. It looked the same. Nothing had changed. I was like, I have a lot of memories there. And anyway, so that's what I did on Saturday. And then I just got a lot of rest. But Zoe went out the other night.
Oh, I can't wait for the story.
Yes. Okay. So she went to Zoe, my daughter, my oldest 26-year-old, loves her some Applebee's.
Applebee's on a date night.
She doesn't like it for the food.
Well, okay.
It's like this thing in her. I don't know how to. She just thinks it's funny. She thinks going to Applebee's is funny, and she likes the fact that everybody's at Applebee's. Like I don't know.
True.
I don't know if is Applebee's like that across the country. I mean, is that just what it is?
To be. I don't know.
Because Applebee's here, you might as well be at a bar. Like a bar.
Yeah, it's a bar.
Yeah, it's a bar of old men here.
Yeah.
And then a few random people will come in, but that's what it is.
It used to be more popping back in the day, honestly.
Was it?
Because
Okay.
I used to go, I would go on Wednesday nights because they had half price wine on Wednesdays. And me and my friends would get bottles of wine and hang out there. And everybody ended up there. And because it was
so funny. Because it's a small town, I guess there's nowhere else to go.
And it was it's centralized in the middle of town. And
It's a phenomenon. Applebee's is a phenomenon.
They serve the latest. And so a lot of people who are in different service industries around town, they close at 11 and then they go straight to Applebee's because they can get a drink before they close, before they go home.
That's true.
So it's the spot. It was the spot to be at.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Zoe finds it very entertaining. And even when she lived in Austin, like bar capital of Texas, her favorite place to go was Applebee's. Mm-hmm. She just found it very funny. And so she goes up there to meet a friend of hers from high school that still lives here, and they'll go, they hang out now that she's moved home. And it's a guy friend. And so she gets there and she beats him there. And so she's just sitting there waiting on him. And there's this guy that Kelly and I joke about because he looks like a friend of ours, but like a Temu version. He's like an off-brand version of our friend. So we call him off-brand friend's name. And we're like, oh, there's off-brand, whatever. And the guy has a tattoo on his face. I'm not going to say what it is because anyone from this town is going to know. I name the friend's name or if I name the tattoo, you're going to instantly know. But he's got a tattoo on his face, and he looks like a friend of ours, like an off-brand, like Temu version friend of ours. And so we joke all the time about it. And we see him all the time. Like, he's everywhere, including the busted page on the local.
He's like freaking Where's Waldo?
Yeah, for those of you that are new to the podcast, I talk about it often, is the local busted page where on Facebook you can look up all the mugshots that are like, it's like about 3 hours behind. So if someone gets arrested and within 3 to 5 hours, they're going to be on Facebook busted page. So he pops up on there. all the time. And anyway, so Zoe gets there. She's sitting there. He's there. He apparently frequents there often. He makes a beeline to Zoe. And he brings her like a little baby, like a little baby that you have in a Mardi Gras cake, a little plastic tiny baby.
Little tiny baby.
Well, no, I mean, some of our listeners don't live around Louisiana, so they may have no idea what I'm talking about. But a little tiny plastic baby, like 1 inch long.
Yeah.
Okay. And he walks over, puts the baby in front of her, and at Applebee's says, "You're so beautiful," or something like that. "I want you to have my baby," and hands her the baby. If that's not the cheesiest shit you've ever heard.
If it wasn't him, it would have worked on me.
Yes, but even Zoe, he doesn't know who Zoe is, but Zoe has seen him in public with me and seen him on the Busted page, and she's friends with our friend. So Zoe even knows him as Off-Brand.
Yeah.
So Zoe's like, "Oh my God, Off-Brand's hitting on me right now." And so, but she has no interest in even entertaining him.
Yeah.
So she's like, so she's just basically kind of blowing him off and ignoring him and not really engaging him. So he gets the hint kind of, but he leaves the baby and says, "Hey, watch our baby," and then goes back to his friends. He's thinking he's all clever, you know. And
You're going to leave your baby alone with a complete stranger. What kind of father are you?
that's what we said. He's already
my
leaving her
gosh.
to be a single parent.
How? That's a red
to go
flag.
hang with his boys.
Red flag.
He wasn't even going to work. Loser. So Zoe says, well, so then Zoe's friend shows up, right? And he walks over and sits next to her. And literally just her friend. They've been friends since they were kids, you know. And the guy sees a guy that she's talking to and engaging with, and he comes back over and he goes, "I want my baby back." And he takes the baby back.
Oh my gosh.
I was like,
I wonder like what his success rate for that is.
and he's like 30, y'all. He's like 30.
It can't be good.
I don't know. I mean, I was like, what? And then Zoe says yesterday, I'm sorry, Zoe, I'm putting all your business out here. Zoe goes, she tells me yesterday that she has a date. She has this guy she's been talking to, and she has a date. And the guy has a podcast.
What?
Yes. I said, really? Have I heard of it? She goes, "No, Mom, it's about movies. You don't even like movies."
Oh.
I'm not going to put the name of it out there. But
Have you stalked it yet?
oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
She played me a section. Well, she told me that she had told him about the movie Tombstone and asked him if he had seen Tombstone. And he hadn't.
He has a podcast about movies and he hasn't seen Tombstone.
He's young. That's the problem. You know, these young people, that's an old movie for them. That's like you watching a movie from early 90s, really, you know?
Well, I get it, but
So he hadn't seen
you
it.
got to do your research, okay?
I know. I was shocked too, to be honest with you. A little disappointed, you know. So Zoe said, "You need to watch Tombstone." So he watched Tombstone and loved it. You know, who doesn't? So she was like, "Yeah, see, he sent me the part where he talked about it because she suggested it." You know?
Oh, that's cute.
And so I looked it up, and it's, you know, it does pretty well. I mean, it looks like he has some following. He's on YouTube, and you know, so
Nice.
I thought it was funny though. I said, "Did you tell him your mom has some podcasts?" She goes, "Yeah." He thought it was. I said, "Did he think it's weird?" She goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Yeah. I mean, you're a mom. It is weird." I was like,
"Excuse me."
She was like, "I mean, you're really good at it." She was like, "You're really good at it. It's just you're not your average podcaster." You know. I was like, "Well, that's
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome." Anyways, I thought that was really funny. I was like, so that's an update on Zoe since I got nothing for myself. I made some chicken and dumplings.
Hey, that's news. And
You know.
you didn't invite me.
There's-
That's it.
let me tell
now
you.
I'm mad at you again.
Ever since Madison or Rick moved in, and I usually make the chicken and dumplings when Madison's around because she loves my chicken and dumplings. And so I knew she was leaving town to go back to school tonight. So I called her earlier today and I was like, "Hey, are you going to come by for dinner tonight?" And she was like, "Well, I don't know. What time is dinner?" Because she tries to eat with us when she's in town. I was like, "Well, what time are you leaving?" She goes, "We were going to try and leave at 5. I said, "Okay, we'll have a late lunch. I'll make a late lunch and it'll be because he's coming back from hunting, so that works out perfect." I said, "All right." Well, every time I make them now, there are no dumplings, and I make a ass load of dumplings. Like I make so many more dumplings than I used to make because they don't last, and I like to have leftovers.
Yeah.
There are no leftovers, not a dumpling in sight. So I made the dumplings, and I made ridiculous amount. I doubled my normal recipe of dumplings, and you can't make too many more because it'll get, I don't know how to, doughy.
Yeah, it does.
You know. So I'm like, all right. So everybody gets their bowls, and we get to everybody gets one bowl, and then Zoe gets up and makes herself another bowl, and then I'm like, wait, Zoel's not here. Let me make sure I make him a bowl, and he gets, I go there. I had to dig for any dumplings. I think he got 5. He's gonna be very disappointed when he gets home.
Oh, dang.
It's a fight in the house. This is how exciting my life is, y'all. If you have any questions about dumplings, I got you covered. It was delicious though.
Oh, okay, so I had a thought, and I think this would be pretty fun. We haven't done a giveaway yet on our social media, so I had a really good idea. Since Big Al's Christmas party is coming up, my idea is that we're going to do a drawing for a listener to get whatever white elephant gift I receive at Big Al's Christmas party.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So if you are interested in getting whatever the gift is that I get.
All right, I'll put mine in there too.
Okay. So we can do 2 drawings. Whatever we get at Big Al's Christmas party will be the gift that you will receive for this drawing. So if you want to do that. I think
they have to share our social media.
Yeah, so that's what we'll do. I will post a picture for our upcoming when this podcast comes up, and you're going to need to like the picture and share it with somebody. So tag a friend in the picture, and that will put your name into the drawing. If you're following us on social media, your name will already be in because I've already started our collective bowl. And so if you have already followed us on social media, on Instagram, your name's in. If you have already liked the post that we did when we did our first 50 followers, your name's in. And so if you go and if you're not already following us on Instagram, your name will go in. If you're not following us on Facebook and you follow us on Facebook, your name will go in. And if you like on either one of the accounts, so you can rack up a couple of different. So make sure you're following us on Instagram or on Facebook, our Two Sides in the Truth podcast, Instagram and Facebook, and like the post and share it. And then your name will go in each time you do one of those things. Okay?
I like it. And let's, for a recap, what did you get last year at it?
Okay. So last year I actually got 2 things because, Terry gave me his gift that he got. So I got my gift back, which was a hourglass, a really cool hourglass that you tilt back and forth. And then he got me this faux fur scarf that's multicolor, and it's gorgeous, and I love it.
And I got a black Santa.
And Zeta got a black Santa.
And I love it. It's in my living room right now. Yeah. I wouldn't give that away.
No.
One year I got, at their party, I got a salt and pepper shaker that were like a ceramic, like artsy looking. It was a couple, and they were embraced. And the black one was salt, and the white one was pepper. So it was like an interracial, ceramic couple embracing. But I accidentally left the gift there, and so then I text Amy, and I was like, I feel like y'all should have this gift.
That's kind of y'all.
She started laughing.
So
I was like, y'all can have it. And then I feel like this is my 3rd one, I think, to go to, but I don't remember what I got at the other one. I think this is my 3rd one. Maybe it's my 2nd one. I don't know.
No, it's your 3rd because you went with Rick the first year.
And then you did the next 2 years, right? Okay, yeah. I don't remember what I got the other year. I think I left it that year too. I'm really bad, y'all.
Okay, I'll make sure that she doesn't leave it this year. So.
Yeah. I got another gift from a listener, and there's something new that we are doing here, and you may notice it, and I'm just going to put the elephant in the room out there because sometimes it's obvious because the audio changes from clip to clip, but we are trying something new this season. I think we talked about it even once.
Yeah.
Where we're recording segments. We're not always recording an entire hour sitting down like we used to do. We're recording in segments, and it just makes it where we can put things together we want together and that kind of stuff.
Makes it easier.
So we talked about gifts, and that's going to be on this one. But I want to tell you what I got a gift since we recorded this. A listener sent me a rock, and I don't have it in front of me, but I did post it, and I'll post it again. But she sent me a rock that she had found, and I got to tell you, I just thought to myself, I'll discuss it more. I'll get her name so that next time I can actually go into detail on it, and I'll read the letter because it's so sweet. But just the sentiment that somebody took their time out of their day, a listener that has never met me, took their time out of the day and saw a rock, thought of my story. So I entered their subconscious while they're on vacation because she wasn't home. So while she was away from home, and thought this would be a good rock for Zeta's grave that I've never met in Texas for a mother that's been dead for 10 years. I'll never meet. I just thought that is just, it really touched me. It is so freaking sweet.
We have some amazing listeners.
We really do. And I just want to say thank you for anyone, even if you don't send anything, just the thought that you saw a rock and you thought of my mom, that alone was really cool. But also it's really cool. And you know how many heart rocks now I have because it's heart shape? Because I've had I'm like, this is crazy. I have found 2 or 3 rock shaped like hearts, like perfect hearts. And then I've had probably 5 people give me heart shaped rocks that not ones they bought and that they found, and one that somebody bought that's just really cute. And, but yeah, no, I was just like, how awesome, man.
Love it.
I love it too. Everything's coming together so beautifully. So that's about my extent of my catching up.
Yep.
We're just getting ready for the holidays.
Yep.
Almost got my Christmas shopping done. So in one day.
Wow. That's impressive.
It was 2 stores. I was like, we're not playing around here. We're getting this done. Yeah. So I was kind of proud
Put
of myself.
your game face on.
Yeah. I took Zoe with me. I was like, oh, we got to do this. Let's go. Go, go, go. You go to the left. No.
Take this walkie-talkie.
Yeah. If I need you. I was like, you go with me because we're shopping for the kids. And then she kept picking out stuff for herself. I was like, girl.
We've already been through this.
Yeah. Yeah. And when she was a kid, I never would let her get a Bratz doll. I just didn't think it was age appropriate. And she always wanted a Bratz doll. I let her have my scenes. They weren't quite as risque, and she loved her my scene dolls. Oh my gosh. So, and there was a Bratz doll named Zeta. I mean, they had like smaller ones and they had different names than the bigger ones.
Yeah.
And she did have a few of those because everyone would give them to her for birthdays and stuff because they have my name on it. But she saw this Bratz doll that kind of looked like her. And she was like, Mom, I need this Bratz doll. She's 26, y'all. I need this Bratz doll. I need this Bratz. I was like, all right, put it in there, but it's a Christmas gift. So
Yeah, you can't have it till Christmas.
can't have that Barbie doll till Christmas. Yep. That's where we are.
Funny.
It's ridiculous.
We never really grow up, do we?
No, not my kids.
My mom still grounds me. Oh, I had posted the picture of my tattoo on, so she saw it on my Snapchat and she messaged me. She's like, you're grounded. I'm like, really? I'm covered, Mom. You're still grounding me for every tattoo I get. So I just sent her the eye roll emoji.
Yeah, whatever.
So I'm grounded, guys. That's an update.
All right. Well, when are you getting ungrounded?
I have no clue. I think we're up to I don't know.
6 more years.
In my 40s.
Sure. In your 40s. Right? That's funny. All right. Well, good to catch up. And I guess we'll see what happens next week. We should have some good little holiday stories from the Christmas party.
Yeah, that will be fun.
We'll see who the winner is.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay. So the topic of today is going to be a little bit heavier, on the heavier side emotionally. We're going to be talking about trauma dumping. Now, what trauma dumping is and how you can deal with it when it is done to you. And also just like PTSD in general, like what it is and the effects it can have on you.
We don't plan to make y'all cry this time.
Hopefully not.
No.
I want this to be just more informative.
Yeah.
Because I really think a lot of people deal with, post-traumatic stress and they don't even realize it. A lot of times it goes diagnosed.
Right.
And then also just realizing what trauma dumping is, if you do it, and sometimes you can do it not even meaning to, because once emotions start flowing, sometimes it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
And so just realizing what that is and how it can affect people.
Yes. So one of the reasons that we want to talk about it is that recently I had a situation where I had someone that I love and I was close to trauma dump on me, which is kind of a friend's job to a degree. We're supposed to help each other and support and listen, and that's important. Like, you have to have people you can talk to. But I think you need to be cautious of who you're trauma dumping what on. And is it the right time to trauma dump on this person? Because this person might have similar trauma in their past, and you might create a problem with it. So in my particular situation, the person that was telling me what was going on in their life, it wasn't so much what they were telling me. It was how they were telling me and the condition they were in when they told me. Yeah. And it really, it's like I didn't know I had PTSD, and it brought back some memories of mine that I had kind of made light of.
And suppressed.
It's like I knew they were there and I knew what happened, but I like to make jokes of my trauma, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I have made light of it for so long, for so many decades and I mean, I talk about this trauma. This is not like some hidden thing. But I didn't expect this, and I didn't know this person was going to unleash on me. And it was very difficult for me.
Yeah. So the definition of trauma dumping is when someone unloads the details of their traumatic experience onto someone without regards for its impact and without any kind of warning. So whenever you are going into like a situation, if you're just wanting help with a friend, the proper way to go about that is to be like, hey, I have a lot of things I'm really needing to get off my chest. I don't necessarily need your advice, but it might be triggering or it could be a lot. Like, how do you feel about that?
And for people, I want to say really quick, because the word trigger triggers people.
It does.
A lot of people will make that a political thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And you need to remove that, because where you're referring to actual triggering, like this is not social media triggering. Yeah. This is real life. You have experienced something traumatic and something pulled it right back to the present.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that, let's not make light of that word.
No, this is a cause and effect kind of thing. So if you're talking to a friend and what you've gone through is very emotional or was traumatizing to you, you need to realize that it could be just as traumatizing to the person that you're trying to talk to, because you don't know their background. And even if you do know some of their background, you probably don't know all of it. So you can let them know this is really heavy, and it's something that I'm needing to kind of get off my chest and have your help with, if you're willing to experience that. And that gives them the opportunity to check themselves and to then consent to what you are about to unload on them.
Well, and I think sometimes when people know you have that trauma, they think you're the person they should talk to about it.
Yep, that's true. I've had that happen to me a lot. And while I do want to be able to be a helpful stepping stone for somebody, you never know where that's going to put you.
Let's not put you back. Yeah. Yes.
It can cause you to take steps backward in your recovery or whatever it is that you're going through. And that's not fair to you.
Right. So. And that's kind of what happened to me. And, I'm really, this sounds silly because I cried on the last episode and I cried over the damn baseball game that I don't even watch. I'm menopausal, so I'm a little sensitive. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm really not a crier. I like to compartmentalize emotions. I'm just like, oh, okay, this is horrible. Let's put it back here. And we're never going to think about it again. Or we're just going to make jokes about it and pretend like it really didn't happen or it wasn't that bad or whatever the case is. And that is what I'm the queen of. I'm really good at that. Yeah. And I like that about me. I would like to continue to do that.
It's really working for me.
It's working out great for me. Okay. So I do that. And so really for the first time in my adult life, like since I've been 25 plus, because I consider you adult at about 25.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. So 25 plus, this is the first time it brought me memories this harsh, and I was upset. It messed me. I immediately called you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to tell you this. Blah, blah, and I wasn't trauma dumping on you because I wasn't like, blah, blah. I mean, just telling you what happened, but I was like, what I kept saying to you.
But you did ask me, hey, are you at a place right now that I can talk to you? Is it okay that I tell you? And I told you it was.
Yeah.
So that even just that little bit of time, little bit of consent and letting them be ready for it can make a big difference.
Because it was a heavy conversation.
Yeah.
And I was PTSDing. I didn't even know. I mean, I was freaking out. I needed to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And so I called you, and I called one other friend, and I was just like, I need to get this off my chest.
Yeah.
I need to
gotta work through it.
I need to tell you what happened. I need your advice. I didn't go into detail to trauma on them. It was about what happened to me with my reaction to their trauma.
Yeah. What it stirred up in you.
What it stirred up in me. And it made me feel like shit. It really upset me. Yeah. I mean, I'm still wrapping my brain around it. Mm-hmm. I called a friend that was a therapist.
Which is good.
And I was like, what do I do with this information? She was like, just keep it in that compartment. No, kidding.
Shove it all back in there.
Shove it all back in there. But I did think about that, and I'm just not, as much as I like to think I'm a good friend,
You are.
but I was not equipped for this. I was the wrong friend for this. I did not know how to handle the situation. And it made me kind of question myself as a friend because I thought I did not handle that well. I wasn't mean to the person or anything like that, but I just wanted to run.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. I wanted to run.
And that's another symptom of trauma, though, is it signaling your fight or flight response or freeze response. And that is another way to really realize that it was a traumatic experience when it triggers that in somebody, because that's a red flag right there.
Yeah.
When something signals your fight, flight, or freeze. And you're not a bad friend because that was signaled in
Right.
you. Okay. None of us, whenever that happens, everybody deals with trauma in different ways. And it's totally fine if you're not able to handle somebody else's trauma.
Yeah.
And that's where boundaries really come in a lot with friends and the people around you, because you shouldn't be expected to. That's why we have doctors and we have, therapists that people who are specialized in this thing and who are equipped to deal with people's trauma, because it's not something that you should just unload just lightly on somebody.
So, in that thought process, like you said, we need to be aware of because you do have to talk to people.
Yeah, you do. That's important. You can't, you as much as you say, like you bottle it up and make light of it. And that is a way of dealing with trauma, but it is really important to be able to get it out in the open, so it's not just this secret thing that festers in you for the rest of your life.
Right. But it's like, it's hard because I don't want to be like, don't tell people your problems. Because that's not what I'm saying.
No.
I'm saying be aware of who you're saying it to what's the timing look like?
Yeah.
What are you doing to them in that moment? Because maybe, do you want to trauma dump on someone the night before their wedding? Do you want to trauma dump on somebody when it's like a celebration? Do you gotta
read the room.
You gotta read the room.
Yeah. And the people that are around you.
And the people.
You might be totally fine with the person who you're talking to, but are there other people around you who haven't consented to this conversation, who are going to be affected by it just by hearing parts of what you're talking about? Is the actual environment a good environment?
And, let's say that, you're in a public situation. And then you are dealing with this in a public situation, and you never even asked for this, and that's a problem too.
Because that can affect the way that you are, how you're feeling, and like if you're having to drive, like if you get put into a really vulnerable state that you're not even thinking clearly and you're emotional, like that's not good. That's not safe.
No, and you're not going to get even the person dropping the trauma is not going to get a good result and get help because you've put this person in a situation where they're defensive or they're uncomfortable or, maybe it was supposed to be a fun time and now it's not fun anymore.
And there's no going back.
And that person needed a fun time.
Yeah.
Sure. Sometimes we need a fun time. And, it just really, I've never understood trauma and PTSD more than when this happened. It is in my adult, and I have been through some shit. Okay. I told my friends this weekend two stories in a row about my mom, and they didn't paint her in the best light. I love my mom. As y'all know, I adored my mom. These stories didn't paint her in the best light, but they were real life. This is what happened. And I can either find it funny or I can hate her. And I choose to find it funny and also choose to understand her now that I know more because I'm older and I've experienced more and I've had trauma like she had trauma. And so I told them these stories and they weren't trauma dump stories because I'm telling them in a funny way. Like I'm just totally making light of them and I'm making a joke. But then I realized that they were shocked.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't funny to them. And I was like, is this not funny? This isn't a funny story? And they were like, no, it's not funny at all. It's horrible. Are you okay? I was like, I'm so sorry. It was funny to me. That's really funny how I got left in a desert.
Oh my God.
By myself. And I found a ride. But these little stories. And that's, I realized I was like, okay, Zeta, some of these things aren't funny.
We got to take it back.
You got to reel it in. You got to know your audience.
And that's real life right there. I mean, I've been in situations where I've definitely had to realize what was happening and not continue what I consider rippling effect of passing on trauma. And because whenever I am put into that state, when I am quote unquote triggered, or it starts what I call my trauma highlight reel. And it just, every traumatic event that I've been through or had to deal with starts flashing back in my head, and just on a non-stopping reel, like boom, 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 boom. And it's all the emotions, all of the after effects, everything that I've had to deal with. It's just one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. And it's like, it's never ending.
Yeah.
And I have to get to the point where I can, center myself and stop it and redirect my brain and put into play all of the things that I've learned through therapy to help me with that.
Right.
And if you don't stop it, that's when you end up, dumping all that on the people that are around you.
Right.
And then it creates that ripple effect of, it stirs up their trauma, and then they pass it on to the next person, and it's just.
And here's
not
the
good.
thing. If you have trauma you're dumping on someone, but you're not going to listen to any advice they have,
Right.
that's a really unfair situation.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna put me in a situation where you're telling me everything, like you are, like so deep in it, like it's deep, and then let's say the person you dump it on says, "Okay, this is what I think you should do.
Let me try and help you."
Let me try and help you. This is my suggestion. This is what I think." And they argue with you. No, but. Now you've created more problems on top of the trauma and the triggering and that kind of stuff. Now you just put all this shit on my plate, and now I know that you're going through this, and you want me to sit and watch and accept it and be okay with it. And that's a whole new set of problems. And if you love this person, that will affect you.
Yeah.
When I love someone and I know they're struggling and there's nothing I can do about it, it is upsetting.
Yeah, because you can't stop. They're a grown person. They can make their own choices. They don't have to listen to you. You
Right.
can't physically keep them from doing something.
No.
And it's out of your hands.
Right.
And so now you know everything that's going on, and you're helpless.
Exactly. And that's kind of how I felt. And it was very frustrating. But it was eye-opening to me that I didn't even know I had such a PTSD. I really didn't. I was. And one of the two friends I called, I was like, "Hey, I really need to talk to you. This is, can I talk to you?" I asked permission. I really need to talk to you. This is why I need to talk to you. Can I talk to you? She was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Give me a call. Let's talk about this." So I call her, and I talked to her about it. And I'm like, "Hey, this is what happened. This is what was said." And they were like, "God, you're giving me PTSD."
Oh, I don't mean to laugh, but it's just so relatable.
Yes. And I didn't trauma dump on her. I just told her what happened in that incident, And
but it stirred up, everything that.
Yes, and the two of us together are like, "Oh my God," like we're both reeling. And I'm like, "I am so sorry if I just," she was like, "No, I am the one person you needed to call. You're right." And I did ask permission, and she did say, "I would have called you. Like this is, yes, we're the people that we should have called."
Yeah.
And, and she was really cool about it because, she's invested in this person too. And she said, you gotta cut ties for a minute and let them heal themselves. You gotta just, she gave me permission to protect myself.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And I kind of need it. Because I'm mama.
Of course.
I take care of everybody. It's what I do. And to not take care of someone is really hard for me. It's a challenge. When I see someone struggling, I fuck myself over sometimes trying to help people.
Yeah. And then if you can't, you feel defeated.
Yes. Yeah. I'm totally mama bear. I've been doing it for years. And, being a single parent and a single mom that struggled, but I was so much luckier than most single moms because I had a career and I had a good income and I was able to provide for my children and I had a good resume and I could take care of myself.
Yeah.
I know so many women are not in that boat. And I know how hard, the struggle is. And so I went overboard helping single moms for good 13 years. And I don't regret a minute of it. not a minute of it, but it bit me in the ass probably half the time, where they became expectant or they became like, some of them weren't being honest. I guess that's the way to put it. Some weren't being honest.
They were taking advantage.
They were taking advantage. And one time I had someone message me and they were like, I know this person you're helping and they're kind of known for taking advantage of people. And I was like, I know. But they have a kid at home and I need that kid to be taken care of. And if they're taking advantage of me, but in the end, the kid benefits, I'm okay with it. Like that's, to me, that's okay.
Yeah. But really it's not.
But it's not, you know what? It might be rewarding her, but who cares? It's rewarding the kid, if that makes sense. So I got burned a few times doing it. And that's what I mean by sometimes I will hurt myself to help somebody else.
Yeah.
Because a few times it did put egg on my face on occasion, but just as many times somebody paid their light bill and had power.
Yeah.
And somebody, because I found a sitter for them, got a new job.
Yeah. That
paid better, and they were on their feet better. Like, I mean, somebody's refrigerator went out, and I was able to get them a free refrigerator used. Nothing special. Like, I'm not talking like I resurrected Christ. I'm saying here's the thing. I'm going to tell everybody listening to this. I don't know if this is on the subject, but this is. If you knew what my trauma was, you'd understand it is. But when you give somebody a tiny little morsel of hope when they have none, sometimes that becomes the world and creates amazing things. Yeah. And so my way of looking at it was, if only one person gained something out of this, it was worth all of it for every person I helped. I will say I was broke as shit at the time I was doing it. I was a struggling single mom when I was doing it. It wasn't me doing it. It wasn't my money. I didn't put shit up. I just know everybody.
You just connected.
I had resources. Yeah. And so that's all it was. So when I say I help people, I don't mean I gave them money. I just want to be clear. I just had resources that could help them.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky that, big fish, small pond.
Yeah.
And so I just gave my blessing to them by knowing people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by sometimes helping people hurt yourself. Yeah. But you just take the little positive and you just make it worth it. Mm-hmm. In this case, I thought I was helping somebody. It bit me in the ass. There was no positive.
Well,
there was no positive.
I guess the only positive there was a learning lesson for you. Because sometimes that's the only positive that we can take of it, was the experience of it, and then realizing how to prevent that in the future.
Oh yeah, lesson was learned.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's the only positive we can take for something, is being able to learn some kind of lesson from it. Yeah. And whenever that kind of thing happens to me, I really use it in a way to try and better the way that I interact with people who I know have trauma, so that I don't do anything that can hurt them. And so also have a boundary to know when somebody has overstepped the bounds with me, and being able to stand up for myself and my mental health, and being like, hey, we got to shut this down, like in a respectful manner. To let them know I cannot help you right now, and but I can help you find help if that is what you need. Like, I'm not going to be the one to help you right now, but I can try to be that connection to something that will be able to help you. Yeah. And that's all I can do. And so if you're not going to listen to me and you're not going to respect my boundaries, then this is something that's going to stop right now. Yeah. And I'm not going to.
And I think that's really important. I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of times we become empaths. Okay.
Very much so.
My accent wanted to just
empaths.
It wanted to just butcher that word. But we stop using rationale to understand the situation, and that this person might just be manipulating us, and we just, I got to save you. Yeah. I don't know.
Nope. That's why on airplanes, you're supposed to put your air mask on before you put anybody else's on. Yeah. Because you're not going to do any good if you're dead. You're not going to do any good.
You can't help anybody.
If you get put into a state where you are, highlight reeling of your trauma, or you're bringing up past PTSD or anything like that, you fight, flight, or freeze, you're not going to be any help to anybody else if that happens to you. Yeah.
And that is definitely what happened. I definitely was trying to fly away from the situation. I cannot run fast enough.
Right.
How can I get out of this? What can I do to get out of this?
Right.
And, I felt guilty about it the whole time. And then afterward, I was like, I shouldn't have felt guilty. They should have felt guilty.
That's true.
I
But somebody in that situation isn't going to feel guilty for anybody else.
No.
Because they're the victim and nothing else really matters.
yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard stuff.
So if you're dealing with somebody who is dumping on you or crossing boundaries, make sure that you figure out a way to vocalize that, stand up for yourself.
And know it's okay
it
that
definitely
sometimes it's too much for you. You don't have to. My son does. Zol does this. He takes on everybody else's problems. And I'm constantly telling him, this is not your job. That's not what you're supposed to do. Stay in your lane. But I'm notoriously bad at it too.
I know. Well, what do you think he probably gets it from?
Absolutely. I'll tell you what. My boys are way more my personality than my girls. My boys have my personality. And that is the personality trait he got from me. And I regret teaching him some of it. Not all of it. I don't regret being who I am. But, man, there's a time or two.
All you have to do is continue in the lesson and teaching him that you never stop learning and you never stop growing and see how I am still learning how to deal with that and make the smarter choices and put up the boundaries and speak out for myself. Like, these are things that you have to learn and continue doing, because it's a never ending lesson of dealing with your own personal health and then how to help others and still be able to be empathetic because that's not a bad thing. But when your mental health is starting to suffer for it, then it's a balancing act. You have to be able to know how to be able to be there for somebody, but not put yourself in a bad situation.
Yeah. And I will tell you, I've put myself in a bad situation for the same person so many times.
Doesn't that suck?
I'll be honest with you. I forgot about half of them until this happened.
Yeah, because you just pushed it away.
Boy, did that shit come back. And then I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Comes back with a vengeance.
You know how bad my memory is?
Yeah, I know.
But my memory from 30 years ago is really good. I can tell you what I wore to the first day of 9th grade. Mm-hmm. I'm not kidding. I know exactly what I wore from head to toe the first day of 9th grade. I can't tell you shit about yesterday. I have to listen to the podcast every week to remember what I talked about. I'm not kidding, y'all. It's ridiculous. Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
No. Kelly's all the time. You already told the story. You already said the story. Rick's like, okay. He'll finish my story to be like, duh, I know. I get it. I'm a repeater because I don't remember who I've already said this to or if I've told you this. But I remember things from years ago. I had blocked these things out, and that's what shocked me the most is how good my memory is from that time period.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy how our brains can do that. Mine does the same thing. I completely forget large amounts of information, and they do not come back to me. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it is something that makes that come back, and I'm like, whoa, oh my gosh, there's a reason I was not remembering this. It's because your brain knows you can't deal with all that.
Yeah, that's too much.
It's got to go.
Let it go. Yeah. So good job, brain.
Yeah.
Work a little harder. Don't allow me in those. Don't put me in this situation anymore, brain.
Right. It's all your fault.
It's really my heart. My heart is the problem.
Yeah.
If I could just stab that bitch out, just stop feeling. No.
Please don't. I don't have to clean it up.
I'm just kidding. That would be messy. So that's our trauma bond. I hope this helps somebody because I needed it.
I hope we didn't just send somebody into
trauma,
so
to
sorry.
PTSD.
We're gonna have to send out a consent form.
Maybe so. But I just felt like it was really important, and it really did hit me hard. I'm not just saying this for content. Kelly knows I called her freaking out, and I don't do that. Do I ever do that? Have I ever given you a phone call like that before?
No, not really.
No, I was freaking the F out.
We've had conversations in person sometimes like that, but
yeah,
that was a really right after the situation happened and not being able to not.
I had to process it. I needed to talk. So thanks for letting me.
You got it, girl.
Talk to you. And that's it. I hope that that helped somebody.
Me too.
I'm not a therapist. This is just totally us bullshitting. Yeah. We are not professionals.
No, not at all. Just trying to get some real life lessons right here.
Sorry if I just trauma dumped on you. True story.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Wonder who it's from.
You did so good.
Thank you.
I literally just said, hey, you know how on Blue's Clues they're like, we just got a letter. Can you do that? She didn't even practice. She just did that.
Say less.
Yeah, say less. So it wasn't technically a letter, but, you know, it's this version of a letter. We got a package. What we got, Kelly?
So Michelle sent us amazing gifts. And so mine, I got to read the little card because it's perfect. So she said that, Kelly, I also sent Dado a gift. I just wanted to thank you both for the podcast. You make me smile every day. This reminded me of your cactus, Brad. I hope it makes you smile. And it is a cactus. And it's a plastic cactus, so I can't kill this one, and I'm so happy about it.
That's really the most important part. Is it's not gonna die.
I know, it's the best. So they need it's actually 3 different cactuses in a pot. So I have to obviously come up with names. That will be coming soon.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Michelle. It really made me smile and laugh, and I'm so very happy. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and she sent it to Al. She sent us both gifts, and she sent it to Al's bar, and so he was like, "Oh, now you're getting packages here, Zeta.
I got fan mail."
I said, "Are you just jealous you didn't get one?" And he was like, "A little bit." So she gave the lovely cactus to her, and then she sent me 2 gifts. And I did not bring them here. I did think about bringing them here, and I thought I brought the note with me because I've had the note with all the truck changes. I think the note is in the other bag. I thought it was in this one. So I don't have the note, but it was very sweet, and she basically was like, you know, the stories about mom, she really likes them. So she sent me this beautiful crystal, and the crystal is supposed to help you have like good thoughts. It's supposed to bring goodness and good thoughts to you. You're supposed to keep it near you.
I love crystals.
I thought that was really cool. So I got the crystal, and then so I got the crystal first. He had told me I sent a package home with your son because Zane was up here, but I was hunting. So he was like, your son, he texted me last weekend, your son's up here. You got some packages. I'm going to send one home with your son. I said, okay. So I opened the crystal at home. I was like, that's so sweet. And then he goes, but you have a bigger one up here. So when you record, you can open the bigger one. I said, okay. So I come up to record with Al and Amy on Monday, and I was like, all right, open the box. And I felt like the movie, The Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Because I've already told you how many times that I feel like I lived the real life Christmas story, like things like that happened to me, like The Christmas Story. And so this was my leg lamp moment. I'm not kidding. The whole time I'm opening it, I was like, this is like the Fragile. I won an award. It's a great prize.
Major award.
It's a major award. And so it's this massive box, and I open the box, and there's another box inside the box. So then I rip open the other box, and there's styrofoam, and it's something fragile inside of the styrofoam. So I'm like, oh my God, this is when I really felt like it was a leg lamp. So like Amy has to help me get it out of the box. I get it out of the box. It is a jackalope. I posted the picture on social media. It's not ceramic because it's not glass, but it's like that heavy plastic. It's not like empty. It's all plastic, and it's really heavy, and it's a jackalope. And I've discussed jackalopes. I don't know if on both podcasts. I know I've discussed it with Al before because he had never heard of a jackalope. And then when I explained
it sounds like a make-believe creature. It even kind of looks like a make-believe creature.
Well, I mean, it is kind of a make-believe creature. But so I was talking about jackalopes, and there's a lot of Texas legends around jackalopes. Yeah. And so she sent me, and this thing is like 2.5 feet tall. It is massive. It is so awesome. And so I'm just smiling thinking about my jackalope. So I'm like, oh my God, I have Jack. And I carry it out into the bar area after we record. And, you know, all the like regulars that we know that are, you know, Al's that came with the bar.
Yeah.
They're like, what is that? What is that? Why do you have that? And I was like, what? It's a jackalope. Why do you have a jackalope? I was like, a listener sent it to me. I was like, you could just leave it here. We could put it right up there. It'd be great with the decor. I was like, no, it's my jackalope.
No, you can't have my jackalope.
But then I get home, and by the time that I get home, Rick's getting ready for bed, and, you know, we got a bunch of stuff going on, and he gets in bed before me. And I have taken the jackalope. I've already set the jackalope. When I got home, I took it upstairs, and he wasn't home or he was in the garage. So I took it straight upstairs, and I put it on the nightstand next to the bed, where it's like on the other side of the lamp, but it's so big you can't miss it. So it's like staring at the bed. And I was just going to see how long it took him to say something. It took him 2 days. I don't know when he noticed. But finally he goes, why is that jackalope staring at me? Why is it next to the bed? And why do you have it? Where did you get a jackalope?
So many questions.
And I was like, oh my God, a listener sent it to me. I love it so much. He goes, I'm a little scared of it, Zeta. It's very aggressively staring at me as we're sleeping. I think the right home for it is downstairs. So we're trying to find the right home. But I do want to hang like little Christmas balls on his antlers.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. So I just thought that was like the sweetest, like, that was so me. If that's not fucking me, I kind of want to take it to the cabin.
Oh man, yeah.
And then she said it reminded her of Theodore, and you know how my memory is so bad. I'm like, who's Theodore? The fucking bunny.
The bunny.
The bunny that I sent off to the slaughterhouse on accident. I am, and so I immediately read the card to Amy, and she references Theodore, and I'm like, Theodore, do you think that's a typo? She was like, Zeta. Theodore, your bunny. Oh my God, I have no memory.
Forgot about Theodore already.
I'm the worst. I'm sorry. I was like, yes, I'm sure Theodore is very concerned.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I want to thank you, Michelle. That was very, very sweet of you. I also got a really, really funny message from a listener named Bobby. And I got this message literally moments before we started recording today. And thankfully, Kelly was with me and got to witness me read the message and see it because I pretty much lost my shit. But I'm going to read this to y'all now because this is, well, if I can get my messages to open. They're like, no, we're not going to work for you. No, not at all. Okay, here. Is this it? No, that's not it. Hang on. I'm trying to find it. All right, Kelly, you're going to have to talk while I find it.
Well, so I haven't been able to get into our email in a while because I'm not the best with passwords. I don't know why. I have this mental block against technology, but it hates me so much that like the time clock at work, you have to put in your number and you have to put your finger on that and it scans your finger and then it like loads you into the system. Almost every time I do it, it like reboots. It turns off and reboots. It hates, and it'll do that for anybody else. I don't know. Anyways, but I finally did get into our email the other day, and so I have a couple of emails that we also are going to share as well. So
okay, I got Bobby's. Let me get with Bobby's real quick. Okay, so Bobby sent this to me. I've never seen Bobby interact on my social media. I'm sure she does, and I might just miss it. But, you know, I see a lot of the same names over and over again, and I remember them. Like, I'm going to remember Julie, and I'm going to, you know, there's just certain ones I see a lot. But I hadn't noticed Bobby before. Now I will. And Bobby put, I just got this. Well, she sent it Friday. I just opened it, though, now. She said, I'm not going to try to be weird. Never mind, I am. Anyways, I love you so much. You're my kind of people. I'm in Wisco, which I think is Wisconsin. And I know we can't hang out and be besties yet, but I stole a picture off your Facebook and would like to take my future bestie with me on my stupid adventures, LOL. It's only right I get permission from you before I plaster your face on Facebook, LOL. And then she sends me a picture of my face on a stick.
Like a cutout.
It's the best thing I've ever seen.
I absolutely love it.
I can't. And we did this to Zaylee for graduation. We put her face on a cutout, and it was awesome. Look, this is what I want to do. I'm going to give myself rabbit ears.
Oh, perfect. I love it.
I laughed so hard at that. I was like, I laughed. I did not LOL, fake
she, like,
LOL.
Guttural laugh.
I was like, this is the best thing that I have ever seen. And yes, you have my permission to take me on all your adventures. And you know what? Pick up a few rocks and send them to me, because I've discussed this slightly on here, but people gather me rocks from all over the country and the world on vacations and bring them back to me. And then I put them on my mom's grave, so she gets to do a little traveling in her own little way still. Plus, I kind of secretly think it's funny she gets more visitors and has proof than everybody else in the cemetery. That's just me being petty. But whatever. Send me a rock. That'd be awesome.
We love it.
We do love it. So we also got I also got a message from Marcella. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but I don't know. I guess they do this at the end of the year for who they do a Spotify list on what you listen to the most on Spotify. Mm-hmm. So if you use Spotify a lot, they send you this like list, end of the year list.
Oh, that's cool.
And so people were posting it. I don't know if they do this every year, if this is the first time, but it's the first time I've noticed it. And So people have been posting their Spotify list and what they listen to the most, and Marcella sent it to us because we were her number one.
Aw.
We were what she listened to the
feel
most.
so honored.
I know. And I did have a few other listeners that sent me like a picture, and we were in their like their top 5 or whatever. But I was
feel like MySpace all over again.
I mean, well, this logs how many minutes they've actually listened. So
Wow.
it's not even just like I've clicked on it and listened to a part of the episode. She had, like,
She's invested.
it was a lot of minutes.
We got a lot of minutes.
It was a lot of minutes. And I was like, man, the girl, she likes us. I'm like, or she's doing research so she can get us committed. I don't know.
Jury's still out.
Yeah. And then I had another message, and the message was just talking about how they just really enjoyed listening to us. I'm going to read it to you.
I like good long messages, man. They make me happy.
Did I already read this one? This is the one I already read. The one that I want to read there, but this is like basically saying, I just want to really thank you for your time, because I truly listen to every word and enjoy it. And the fact that you can speak for an hour and keep my attention and keep other people's attention says
Right.
a lot. But just at how much it means to them, they really enjoy it. And to just kind of, for us to keep up the good work, because it's fun. So I just thought that was really cool, y'all. It really means a lot to us. Like, it's not just, we're not reading it to you so you can hear how great we are. We're reading to it because I want y'all to know what we really do. It really means a lot. And we do get a lot of comments and things from people, and I really do read them all, and I really do ingest them all. And that goes for also sometimes people are like, hey, what if you did this? I do the same thing. I ingest it all. Now, am I going to remember it all? That is probably not. But that's not your fault. That's I sent Kelly a link yesterday because I read where once you become menopausal, about how bad it is for your memory. And did you read it? Did you listen to it I sent you?
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, see, look, I can't. It's not even in my control.
Yeah.
Like,
I have no control over this.
I legit had amazing memory until about 10 years ago. And then I don't know what happened. But it's so bad now.
It's okay.
It's embarrassing.
It's all right.
Well, at least I know who I am right now.
I can't remember anything either, and I'm not even menopausal, so I'm not going to hold it against you.
Yeah. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining us. Maybe come back next week and bring a friend.
Yeah. And remember, there's always 3 sides to every story.
2 sides and the truth.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.